Hello everybody, I'm OCDsaster, and this is OCDsaster Blue, my Sonic exclusive channel where everything we do here is Sonic related. So if that sounds like something your speed, consider subscribing and checking more out after this video. In today's video, I wanted to go over the gadget system in Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. Now, I must preface before we get into the video, I am not an expert on this. I'm still quite confused by this mechanic. I am more so a casual Sonic Racing player, so if you have more insight, please let me know down in the comments on what I get right, what I get wrong, your opinions on gadgets overall, and let's just talk about it. So, Sonic Racing CrossWorlds has a lot of layers to it mechanically when it comes to a mascot kart racer, more so than a lot of its other competition and even its predecessors, because you have these different stats that can influence how you play the game. Your character that you choose has their own type of stat, whether it's speed, acceleration, handling, power, or boost, and then on top of that, the machine that you use, the racing vehicle, albeit extreme gear, the carts, whatever you choose, has its own stats that then move into your character stats. And then on top of that, you then have gadgets in which you can customize to your liking and have different things go through, whether it's power-ups that you get, whether it's, adjusting the handling or stats of the vehicle that you're using. It does a lot of different properties, and it adds this level of competitiveness, this level of, depth and intellect, that the more you know about these gadgets and how they interact with one another and what to pair them with and what set to build out, the better you are on the race course. And unfortunately for me, I just know myself personally, when I have a lot of options like these gadgets, I get overwhelmed, and it's a lot of reading and a lot of trying to plug things in correctly, and I just get tired and my ADHD kicks in. I'm like, I just want to get into a race and race. So my opinions on gadgets are a little bit conflicting and confusing, because I think it does add an extra layer to this racing game that makes it, different from a lot of other ones. And I like that. But at the same time, like I said, my patience is very thin personally, so I'm not too in-depth into what each and everything can do. So with that being said, you're going to see some gameplay, you're going to see some builds that I have, and that's going to pretty much prove how much I don't know about this, because I'm sure you can go on YouTube and look up the best characters, the best machine pairings, the best gadget settings, and to me that's just a lot of homework. I just want to have fun because I am a casual. But some people are really into the competitive edge that this game brings, especially online, going against strangers. So I'm going to rewind a little bit. You have these things called plates, and you can actually level up your plate. And the more you play the game, the more you level up and grind, the more slots you get unlocked for your plate. Whether it's in Grand Prix, whether you're racing online from the jump, you will eventually be able to fill out a bunch of different slots. I believe it's 6, 3 on top, 3 on bottom, and then on top of that you unlock gadgets and gear and all these other types of stats and, abilities that will influence your vehicle and how it interacts on the race course that'll take up different slots depending on how powerful that item is for balancing sake. So if you have a really powerful gadget or gear, it might take up 2 slots instead of 1 slot, or in some cases like the monster truck, it takes up 3 whole slots. Oh, the monster truck. Okay, so that's kind of like how that works, and personally I think that you can grind pretty easily to get to that master plate, to get all 3 slots. They kind of make it easier, and it's kind of like your first step into getting into Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. At first, I was kind of like, okay, this is a little bit too easy, but over time I realized, okay, yeah, no, it's good to kind of get going with this and kind of slowly dip your toes into the gadgets and gears. So, that's fine. From there, you unlock different types of gadgets and gears based off of ranking up when you're playing online and when you are grinding in the Grand Prix as well. And you get different things. So some of these gadgets are only for like ring multipliers. You can get extra rings by going with speed boost, doing tricks, and that's really helpful for races in which there's, or festival modes where the challenge is to collect rings. That could be very beneficial, but overall it might not be that crazy because rings help you accelerate and go faster, but if you're always usually capping at 100, if you're really good at getting rings on the track, then there's really no point in having this boost in there. You might as well have a different gadget or different stat, if that makes sense. And the more you grind, the more you unlock these things, the more you can really get in there and play around with what works, what matches. And you can look up stats and be like, oh, I want this, but then I kind of want better handling, so I'm going to pull that. And it's like a buffet, right? But the problem is, this buffet is so long and so vast, and there's so many different options that you can choose from, that you get so overwhelmed picking on your plate that by the time you get down to eat it, you almost lose your appetite because you have your cake right next to your buffalo wings, and then you have, like, for some reason you picked up rice, and it doesn't go together. It's not very concise. And this is where I'm going to say, for people like me who are casual and don't really understand the ins and outs of these gadgets, I really wish they had some presets. Some like quick little options where it's like, oh, you like doing this and you like doing that, and then you can just click on it and it will just make something for you and you can play around with it. Or even like how they have randomizer for randomizing your character roster and randomizing things in that nature. Doing it, one, for the machines, that's a little bit of a side rant. I wish we could just randomize with machine racing instead of having to actually pick. But two, I would like to have a randomized portion for the gadgets, and it would have some sort of behind the scenes like algorithm to make sure that it, you know, doesn't cancel each other out. Some gadgets will cancel each other out if you put them together, but do something where it builds a basic set for you depending on what you want. Like, oh, I want like a boost like one, and then they'll just populate it for you. That would be a really good addition, I think, for people like me who don't want to spend too much time trying to play around and test what works, what doesn't work, what cancels itself out, because it's a lot to look into. So that's kind of my overall opinion and thought on the gadget system in Sonic Racing CrossWorld. I think it adds an extra level of competitiveness to this game and makes it unique from other racers, but at the same time, it's not very user-friendly. It's not very easy for the casual people, especially if kids are playing this game. They're kind of not going to know what to do with this. And the last thing I'm going to say is I had some friends over that had never played this game before, and we did split-screen multiplayer. But then I forgot, like, oh, like, they don't really know how the gadgets work, and so that was kind of like an energy dropper right there, because not only do they have to figure out what characters, they're not Sonic fans, so it's like they didn't know the characters, they didn't know really what cart to choose, and then now they have to sit here and like look at a build, because when you do multiplayer, when you know, get people together, they still have to build out these plates. There's like, what, A, B, C, D, E? There's 5 different loadouts that they can choose from, but they don't know anything about the game, they don't know anything about the gadgets. I barely know anything about the gadgets, so I can't really explain it. So now, if they don't put anything in their set, they're at a disadvantage. So now they have to sit there and think about what they're going to put into their thing, not fully knowing how the game works yet, because they just picked up a controller. And I think having that automatic, like, putting in slots for you, and letting you just answer 1 or 2 questions and it builds it out for you would have been very useful. But that's just my opinion. I want to know your guys' opinion. Do you like the gadget system in Sonic Racing CrossWorlds? Do you understand it? Are you like me and confused by it? Does it more so annoy you and take up time as you're trying to set things up? I would love to know all your thoughts and opinions down below. I'm OCDsaster, and I hope you have a super Sonic rest of your day. See ya!